Hi, so I wanted to do a video today because I saw a pop-up of an ad this week uh, about perimenopausal and postmenopausal hormones, and the information given in that video was wholly inaccurate. At the very best, it was incomplete. So the confusion around hormones has been going on for a very long time, and it seems the prevailing opinions out there around hormones at that point of a woman's life, that phase, are so inaccurate. And because they're inaccurate, they don't match up with women's experiences, and therefore it provides it actually creates a lot of confusion. So I'm going to go over that today, what's going on hormonally, and I'm sure that will align with many women's experiences, and then dispel some of the confusion. That's what I want to do. Okay, so we're talking about a phase of a woman's life called perimenopause. Now, this is the phase where things are changing prior to menopause. The definition of menopause is no period for 12 months. That's the definition of menopause. So there's a lot of changes that occur before that actually happens. So as most women know, you're born with all of the eggs that you ever have. And as you get up to perimenopause, that's about the mid-40s for most people, sometimes earlier, sometimes later, depending on the woman. What's happening is those are the last eggs, they're the last guys left. They've been sitting in there for a while, and the body makes estrogen to promote ovulation. So what estrogen does is it's stimulating the ovary to produce to stimulate the follicle and mature the egg, and then the egg comes out of the ovary, and that's ovulation. So that's what estrogen does. And then what happens is once the ovulation occurs, progesterone is produced from that point, and that moderates the estrogen. So what's happening is your estrogen's coming in, stimulating the ovary, and then ovulation is just sometimes not happening. And so the body tries harder, more and more estrogen, no ovulation, no progesterone, and the estrogen just keeps going up. So you have estrogen going up and up and up and up and up, and progesterone, none being made. So you often get these very high, if you did a blood test of those two hormones of that phase of a woman's life, you would get a high estrogen, that's called E2, the estrogen from the ovary, and you'll get a very low progesterone, just a simple blood test. So estrogen's going up and up and up, and what estrogen does is it promotes growth and development. So it's building up the endometrium. You might get more swollen breasts, then you get things like, you can get fibroids, you've heavy periods, frequent periods, infrequent periods, everything starts to go a bit haywire. So at this point, it's very important on an aside to keep an eye on your iron levels, because these heavy frequent periods can cause significant deficiencies in iron. Now, low iron will make you very tired, and as the world over, regardless of gender, if you feel very tired, you tend to be cranky. So it's these mood changes that can occur at this time aren't necessarily related to hormones directly. It can just be literally very low iron, where you can't carry enough oxygen around, you feel really lethargic, dizzy. Just a little bit of exercise can make your heart really race and make you feel weak, because you fundamentally don't have enough oxygen floating around your body. That's what iron does, iron deficiency does. So you need to really keep an eye, get regular blood tests, and replace in the quantities needed. If you need an injection, get an injection. But that can be an aside, and a lot of these hormonal problems can be related to low iron. Another thing, low iron can actually cause headaches. So definitely take care of that, and that can really massively impact the symptoms that are going on at that phase of your life if you're iron deficient. So we have this picture. We have estrogen going up and up and up, and then progesterone staying very low. So what can happen is a few different things. You can convert that excess estrogen to testosterone, and that can start giving you acne, and so that can be very frustrating, like with these sort of teenage type symptoms in your perimenopausal phase. But that is actually what's going on. So by the way, this is actually a natural thing, the estrogen going up and the progesterone going down. So blood tests sometimes are done on the hormones above these FSH and LH, and the changes in those hormones are sometimes or often categorized as, oh, well, you have low estrogen now, your estrogen's falling, because you're absolutely 100% guaranteed not the case. Not the case at all. So even postmenopausally, when your ovarian estrogen is low, you can definitely have high estrogen from other sources. I'll talk about that at another time, but you cannot assume low estrogen unless you're actually testing that. Very important. And those other hormones, FSH, LH, they're not a reflection in any way of estrogen. They reflect other hormonal changes that are put under some umbrella and categorized as low estrogen. Not the case. So, as you can see, your symptoms, if you're in that phase of your life for a woman, would be matching up what I'm saying. So you feel more bloated because of this estrogen. You're putting on more weight because that's what estrogen does. It slows your metabolic rate, and it's designed to prepare your body for pregnancy. So to put on a little bit of extra weight, and it slows your metabolic rate. So that's what's actually going on. It's an estrogen-driven problem at that point. Okay, so what do you do about it? It's quite simple. The most natural, but in truth, the slowest way to do it is to balance that estrogen by promoting ovulation. So when you're promoting ovulation, you're helping your body make its own progesterone. That's what you're doing. And that progesterone's a diuretic. It increases your metabolic rate. It's got a natural calming effect on the nervous system. It does a lot of good things. Actually, sleep, it actually helps promote sleep as well. So you can definitely promote ovulation, increase your natural progesterone to balance out that estrogen. No problem at all. The best way to do that, and I'm very experienced in this, over and over and over again, Vitex Agnus Castus is the most useful and reliable way to do this. Now, I don't mean Vitex mixed with all kinds of bips and bobs and some zinc and selenium and cobalt and all these other things. Just Vitex Agnus Castus on its own. Its common name is chaste tree, and Vitex is its Latin name. So you'll see it in both ways on labels. So that's going to promote your natural progesterone. If the progesterone really is high and there is fibroids and maybe cysts in the breast, and you really want a rapid opposition to this excess estrogen, you can use bioidentical progesterone. Definitely it's more effective to take it orally than it is to use the cream. The cream, it's hard to determine how much is getting in, because it depends on how well your skin can absorb, and there's a whole lot of other factors involved there to get it into your body. Whereas orally, it's processed by the liver, and it's there. You're getting the same dose, and it's reliable. Now, to be very, very clear, progestogen and progesterone are entirely different. They're used synonymously. They're used interchangeably. Those terms are actually used interchangeably, and they are 100% different things, almost diametrically opposed. Progestogen is not progesterone. So progesterone is not a patented product, because it's the identical molecule to what your body produces, therefore not unique, therefore not patentable. Progestogen is different. It has other negative effects that I'm not going to go into, but it's not the same. So in different countries, these hormones are on prescription, and other countries are available just to buy online. Depends on which country you're in. So if you need to get hormones, you would in a country you might need a prescription. But either way, if you're taking hormones, you need to be checking those levels, not just take hormones and then forget about it. Not a smart thing to do. You should be checking those levels over time to see what's going on, because your hormones don't stay the same by any stretch of the imagination. So the best way to test these things, and the most accurate, is saliva tests. And you would measure progesterone, E1, which is estrone, it's a different type of estrogen, very strong one, E2, which is your ovarian estrogen, and E3, a much weaker estrogen, mainly involved in pregnancy. But those are the 3 estrogen types, and the estrogen profile can affect you, and other. So when you get a saliva test, you're measuring free hormone. When you get a blood test, you're measuring all of the hormone. So some of the hormones in your blood are bound up. They're like bound up into a storage form, and they're not active, which means free. Like free hormone is active, bound hormone is in its storage form and not active. So you basically want to know what are the active levels of particular hormones in your body, and to get that you would need to do a saliva test. All right, so like I said, you can use progesterone to counteract that excess estrogen. So the next part I'm going to look at with estrogen is estrogen can flow down to a myriad of other hormones, more hormones that we're going to mention. It's all kinds of technical words that aren't necessary to go into in great depth unless you're interested in biochemistry, but you basically flow those estrogens down to good estrogens and bad estrogens, keeping it simple. The good estrogens are good for your skin and your bones and your mood and all kinds of other things, and your heart, your cardiovascular health. And the bad estrogens, well, they're not good for your mood, your heart, and all those things. You don't want them. So there is 3 things to do to help you flow those estrogens in the right way. And the first one is zinc. Huge fan of zinc. Huge fan of short-term high dose prescribing. Zinc is very high in shellfish, and secondarily way down there is meat. So it's we don't eat a lot of those. We don't eat a lot of shellfish, and you would have to eat quite a bit of meat to really keep your zinc status where it needs to be. So for an adult, you're looking at between 50 and 90 milligrams of elemental zinc a day for 3 months. And then you can do that the following year. Now, it's wonderful for your immune system, so winter time is a great time to take it. So if you're going to do if you're going to do 90 milligrams, best to do it in a split dose, 30 milligrams 3 times a day. Zinc always is to be taken with food because it can make you queasy. Not everybody, but it can happen. So the next thing is B vitamins, super easy. B vitamins, B complex, not hard to do there. And the third thing is a substance in the body called DIM, or diindolylmethane is its longer name. Now that is produced in the body, you actually make it from a substance called indole 3-carbinol, or I3C. Now you might have seen DIM or I3C on labels of supplements for balancing hormones. So that's what they do. So indole 3-carbinol is actually a substance in vegetables in the cruciferous family, which is the broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts, those vegetables. So you definitely want to increase those in your diet, and that's what it's doing. It's converting to DIM and helping you make good estrogens, which protects you from breast changes and ovarian changes, things like that. So it works on supporting healthy hormone metabolism. So yeah, you can definitely take the DIM, but also definitely take those vegetables because there's other benefits there. So those are the things you do for making good estrogens. The next thing I wanted to talk about is getting rid of the old hormones once you're done with them. So once you're done with your hormones, you package them up in the liver. They go into the gallbladder, into the bile, and from the bowel, and then from the bile they go into the bowel, and they're carried out of your body that way. So probiotics are very important in that phase, because once the hormones get down into the bowel, they are broken down. So they're broken down by the probiotics. So, and then they're able to be carried out. If they're not carried out, they're actually recycled. It's called the enterohepatic recycling mechanism. You just end up getting them back into your blood, and it elevates your overall hormone profile, which we don't want to do. So good probiotics periodically, even if you feel like everything is well, it doesn't hurt to once in a while just take some. But definitely if you've had a tummy bug or antibiotics or other medications that can knock out the bacteria, definitely replace them with a good quality probiotic. Now you also want to make sure you've got good fiber, and you're not lacking fiber in your diet. You can definitely add things like psyllium seed to your smoothies and things like that will provide fiber. I'm a big fan of root vegetables, roast vegetables, because it's a very nice soft fiber. It's not a rough soft fiber. It's good for your digestive tract. And promoting the liver, making bile. So things like dandelion coffee, dandelion roots are a great stimulant of the liver, and St. Mary's thistle, anything that promotes very gently promotes bile production and secretion into the gallbladder. All right, so those are the key ways to balance your hormones. I hope that's been of use to you, and I'm sure that those, like I said, those symptoms would align with resistance, because there's so much sugar and then so much insulin, so much sugar, so much insulin, and so yeah, that's what happens. So I just wanted to really get that information out there so that women understand the right target, what the right target is for that phase of their life, and what is actually going on when you're getting, like skin breakouts and putting on weight and feeling cranky and tired and bloated and hormonal. So that's what's going on. So I really hope that avenues to pursue for